Such a strange town you have never seen. Everything here is fake except for the people. Ours are made of plastic. The grass is made of plasticine and the fish in the pond are made of plastic. The food people eat is jelly made of bananas, and the most outrageous thing here is, people need to use all their savings to buy fresh air, and so all the residents live in this seemingly beautiful town, but no one expected all this would change because of a teenager. Just a few days ago, Gio was riding his motorcycle to school. He accidentally found a steel wall. Curious, he pressed the mechanism in front of him. The next second suddenly appeared many stairs. Then Jack followed the stairs to a small door in front. Off walked in and found that the place was constantly discharging sewage, also emitted a pungent smell, and, when he walked out of another door, was stunned by the sight before him. Inside was a lifeless wilderness. Compared to the splendid town inside the city walls, it was a different world, away from the real thing. Jack drove firmly into the darkness. He was surprised to find that although this place was deserted, but it looks like there are still traces of human existence. I don't know how long I've been walking. Finally, in the mist, a lone house appeared. The light from the window indicated that someone was inside. A few curious people went to the door and rang the doorbell. Unexpectedly, the door suddenly turned into a hammer, smashing him into the sky. Whoa, wow, ah! The moment he hit the ground, he suddenly pulled him up. It turns out that the person who lives here is an old man. Before Jia could say anything, the old man drove him away. The next morning, Jia got on his motorcycle to visit the old man again, but accidentally ran into two big men in suits, and then a car came from afar. The man who came out of it was the mayor of the town. He warned Jai not to sneak out of town again. Jai tried to play dumb, but the mayor was directly recognized. It turns out that everything in the town is in the hands of the mayor. The baby on the billboard, the mascots on the trash cans are all cameras. When the mayor left, Jai did not take his warning to heart. He slipped out of the town again. He went to the old man's house. This time the old man didn't chase Jai away. Instead, he told him the story of his youth. The old man's name was Lao Wan. When he was young, he found a fantasy forest. Here he found a tree that could make him rich. Cut down the tree in spite of the animals. At that moment the sky flashed with lightning and thunder. Even the guardian of the forest was also alarmed. Have you ever seen a magical forest? There are not only the fish can walk, there are also bears that can stack, and hens can fly into the sky. Looking at the scene in front of men stunned. What's more important is, Lao Wan found a magical tree. This is the perfect material to make clothes. Then the foreigner tried to cut the tree, but was stopped by the animals, and wanted to drive him away. Foreigner saw the situation directly out of two large bags of snacks, and the next moment so the foreigner with snacks successfully captured the animals, and then raised the axe directly cut up, and so the tree fell. And when he looked around, all the little animals were hiding. However, the foreigner did not care. When he left, the sky was suddenly clouded with dark clouds. The little animals fled everywhere. A mysterious force burst through the clouds. This man is the guardian of the forest, Old Rex. To the trees that were cut down, Old Linus was very sad. He led the animals to bury the tree, and Old Linus found Old One to accuse him of his behavior. But Old Man was unmoved. It made a new product out of tree hair. Products that could not only be worn as clothes, it can also be used as a rag. Not only that, it also has super absorbent. Next day, he brought his invention to the town to sell, but to his surprise, none of them were sold. Strangely, one threw it on the girl's head. The novelty of the dress attracted the crowd's attention, instantly became an internet celebrity product. At this time, Lao Wan did not know that his product had become a hit. A disappointed man returned to the forest, promised Lale never to cut down trees again, and at that moment a large number of residents came to the forest. They rushed to buy. They all wanted to buy the fashionable clothes. The sudden rush of money overwhelmed the old man's mind. He ignored the advice of old Raish, cut down a large number of trees. Even to increase production, Lao Wan directly bought large machines. He also built a factory. The effluent from the factory made the fish lose their homes. The disappointing smoke made the birds lose their feathers. In order to make more money, foreigners have lost their minds, but the good times don't last long. When the machines cut down the last trees, once dense mountain forest became devoid of grass, with no more raw materials. The foreigner's business was in decline. By the time he came to his senses, it was too late to recover. The animals left the area in search of new homes. Old Renz, the guardian of the forest, also left in disappointment, so he locked himself in here and decided to die alone. And so Jack listened to the story of the old man. Looking at the energetic boy in front of him, old man seemed to see a chance to regain his life. So he took out the last seed and gave it to Jack, hoping that he could awaken the people of the town. He also did not hesitate to accept this mission. Finally, Gia brought the seeds back to the town, but what he didn't know was, all of this was clearly seen by the surveillance. This is the best businessman I've ever seen. He became the richest man in the area by selling air, and at that moment there was a boy, got the last seed in the world to cut off his fortune. Knowing Fist, Mayor put on his seat belt. With a bodyguard jumped down. You get away with this. Boy's result was accidentally hit the car, and on the other hand, Jack and his family took the opportunity to escape to the rooftop. Seeing this, Senna more directly took out the transmitter. Wow, ha 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 ha. The fans suddenly started to blow the seeds into the sky. The flying seeds accidentally fell into the bucket, but Bao Bao was careless. All the buckets in the car were knocked out. All the buckets rolled down the slope. The bucket was picked up by the normal, but his hand was stuck in it. Asked the bodyguard to help, and at that moment Jack came on his motorcycle. Grandma hooked the bucket with her walking stick. Then they came to the central square, and here the lawn is plastic. There is no dirt at all. Grandma had a bright idea, climbed to the roadside excavator, directly smashed down the statue of the town mayor. Fresh soil was leaked out. Just when Gio was about to plant the seeds, but he got the accusation from the crowd. People simply do not listen to Jai's explanation, and then the black-hearted mayor came over. He lied to everyone that the town didn't need trees. Trees only mess up the environment, and that they would attract bees and ants to hurt children. The residents, who had never seen trees before, not only believed the mayor, they also surrounded Jai and the others, forcing Jia to give up the seeds. At that moment a girl came forward. He said that the tree could photosynthesize, giving off oxygen, but the ignorant people didn't understand what is photosynthesis. In desperation, she climbed on the excavator and knocked over the wall directly. People who had never left the town before, seeing the desolate scenery outside, they were stunned. He climbed on top of the car and showed the people the seeds, and said that planting the seeds would grow trees, then everyone can breathe free fresh air. No need to pay for it anymore. The mayor is still twisting the truth, but looking at the miraculous seeds, people chose to believe Jia. The captain's lies were exposed. Ed was mercilessly sent away. Finally, in the presence of everyone, Jack planted the seeds and watered it. On the foreigner in the distant house looked at the light in the distance, felt a great sense of relief, leaving tears of excitement. He walked out of the room. The sky finally turned back to blue, and just at that moment, Lorax fell from the sky and appeared in front of the foreigner. The earth is our home. It is everyone's responsibility to protect the environment. I'm Mystery Space. See you in the next issue.